Small, hot, and fast. That's a quick description of a tiny planet 560 light years from our solar system, discovered by the Kepler spacecraft. It's a rocky planet, less than 1.5 times the size of our Earth. It's the smallest planet found so far outside our solar system. But anyone hoping for Earth-like life there will be disappointed. The planet zips around its sun in a closer orbit, and it's 3 times hotter than molten iron. Kepler has discovered 7 exoplanets so far. It's almost 2 years into a mission that could last for 6 years. We, of course, want to learn more about all of this and where space exploration went in 2010 and where we may be headed in the new year, 2011. And joining us to talk all about it is space and science writer Dave Brody. He's joining us now from CNN New York. Dave, thanks a lot for joining us. So first of all, something about this newest discovery and the possibility of discovering planets in 2011 that have, as you like to say, Goldilocks conditions for possible life.
Indeed. Well said, Relitsa. Well, let's talk about this discovery. First of all, of this little planet, you mentioned exactly right that it's a little bit smaller than 1.5 times the size of Earth. It's also way too hot to be anything Earth-like. But this is really proof of concept for the mission that discovered it. It's the Kepler mission. It's really cool science. Here's how it works. If I took our own solar system and I shrunk it down to the size of this DVD, okay, all of the major planets would fit within the thinness of the disk. So what Kepler does is it looks at stars. It's looking at over 100,000 stars, and it's looking for what are called transits of planets across the face of the star from the perspective of the telescope, When it sees a tiny, minute dip in brightness of that star, it knows that something has crossed in front of it. From that, it can deduce the mass of the planet, the orbit that it's in, something about its composition. So we expect to see the Kepler actually discover another Earth sometime during its mission lifetime.
We'll have to check out your space.com website there for just some fascinating information and more as we try to understand all of this. And tell us the significance of this find in terms of why is it important to us? Do we really want to know that we're not alone there? What if there's some hostile other dwellers on a planet with Goldilocks conditions that we seem to have sort of found in the past year?
Yes, indeed. Well, very good questions. And these are exactly the sorts of questions that our communities that come to us at space.com like to debate hotly. Some people are terribly afraid that the aliens will be rapacious and terrible. Some, and I must admit I'm in this latter camp, believe that these planets, these stars are so far away that it would be economically nonsensical for them to try and come here and steal our resources. If you have the ability to do that distance of star travel, you have the ability to solve any problem that you have. You don't need to go and steal it from somewhere else. So if there are intelligent aliens out there, I would like to believe that they'll be friendly, and I have some good reasons to speculate that they will. But we all would like to know this question: are we alone in the universe? And that's what motivates a lot of the science and a lot of science fiction that we read at space.com. We touch on both camps. You mentioned this Goldilocks proposition. So we on Earth are very fortunate to live in the Goldilocks zone of our star. You know, it's like the old legend: not too hot, not too cold. Everything is exactly right for liquid water to form, and not only liquid, but water in the gaseous state, steam, fog, water in the solid state, ice. That's what drives the processes of life. So we'd like to find other planets that are in their Goldilocks zones. And back in October, some astronomers believe that they discovered one that was in its Goldilocks zone around its star. Wasn't discovered by the Kepler method, it was discovered by a different method. Doesn't matter. What matters is that we may have found a planet that has the potential of water being in a liquid state. That's all that we know about it, if in fact it's really there. So stay tuned to space.com. If we find one, we'll let you know.
Okay, and I wanted to also ask you, space travel, it's picking up some speed with Richard Branson, and he even has some competitors, but are we going to really see ordinary people being able to fly into space privately? Of course, they have to have a lot of money, but will we see that in the next year?
Yes, well, Relitsa, you hit on it exactly. It depends on what we mean by ordinary. Billionaires have already flown to the International Space Station for a week to 10 days of weightless, frolicking fun. Mere mortals like me can't afford to do that. Right now we're looking at pictures of Elon Musk's SpaceX Falcon 9 launcher and its Dragon space capsule. Now we're seeing Richard Branson's Spaceship 2. This is the vehicle that will take people into suborbital space. It won't go to a destination. It will just go up and come down. You get about 6 minutes of weightlessness. And for about 200,000 American dollars, you can have this reverse bungee ride into space. And there are several hundred people who have signed up to do this, and presumably they'll be able to pay for it.
All right, well, we'll be watching some very exciting happenings, and we'll just be watching and checking space.com, your website. There we go. That's an extraordinary website there. Dave Brody, thank you so much for speaking with us and trying to explain these exciting and complicated discoveries and the way forward for 2011.
Thank you, Elisa. We'll see you in space.
Hopefully. Thank you. I wish.